Welcome to Planet MicroCap. I'm your host, Robert Kraft, and joining me right now is Ravi Sood. He is the chairman and CEO of Golconda Gold. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you: GG on the TSX Venture and GGGOF on the OTCQB. And Golconda will be presenting at our upcoming investor conference, the Planet MicroCap Showcase Toronto, in partnership with MicroCap Club, taking place October 21 through 23, 2025 at the Arcadian Loft in downtown Toronto. For more information to register to meet Ravi, see the presentation, please register to attend at planetmicrocapshowcase.com. And with that, Ravi, thank you for joining me today. How you doing?
Great, excited to be here.
All right, it's great to have you. So this is actually our first time doing an interview together. So for folks that aren't familiar with the Golconda story, can you give us that quick overview and history of the company?
Sure thing. We started the company as a producer right out of the gate. The company was formed by acquiring the Mupani gold mine from a company called IAMGOLD. That was back in 2011, and that was really the genesis of the company and how we built the team and our further assets around that original asset. I think we did a great job with the Mupani gold mine. We ran it for when we took it over, it had less than 2 years of reserve left, and that was the reason why IAMGOLD was disposing of it. But we extended that dramatically. We ran it for 11 years. We produced 332,000 ounces. But it was a different gold price environment. So our all-in cost was in the mid to high 1300s. And that was the average gold price over that time period. So we didn't generate a huge amount of profit, but that was really the sort of the building block of our start of our company. While we were running Mupani, we acquired two other mines that were both coming out of restructuring processes. They were both on care and maintenance. And those are the two mines that we have today and form the asset base of Golconda Gold. That's Galaxy Gold Mine in South Africa, which is now in production and contributing significantly. We've put out two quarters this year, Q1 and Q2, profitable in both quarters, generating free cash flow as well, paying down debt. And the Summit Gold Mine, which is in New Mexico, which we hope to, we've now given a timeline for getting that back into production Q2 of 2026. So that'll add to our production base, diversify us geographically, add silver to the production mix for us, and contribute significantly to cash flows once we get that up and running as well.
Absolutely. So, Ravi, for those that follow gold and gold mining, gold exploration, production closely, they'll probably be able to answer this without me even asking. But for folks that don't follow, let's say just the gold industry or gold companies, really, what would you say makes Golconda Gold unique and different compared to some of your peers? Listen, I've interviewed thousands of junior explorers over the years, so I'm sure people would love to hear the differences.
Yeah, and that's the question. I can say it's a great question, but I think it's the question, and we are different on a couple fronts. So juniors are obviously an important part of the ecosystem. The whole thing doesn't exist without juniors making discoveries, building up projects, developing them to a certain point, and then if it works out, usually handing it off to an intermediate or a major company. That's great. Very difficult. Probabilities are stacked against you, very capital intensive. You're only burning money throughout the whole piece. And as a result, it's very hard for the entrepreneurs behind it to, really have much of an equity stake in the business. And that's just the way it is. It's just no criticism of individuals or companies, but you have to keep raising capital over and over again. And as a result, management teams own very little, and they think, as a result, tend to act and think a little bit more like employees than as owners. In our case, we were a producer out of the gate. We've only ever done one financing with a broker to raise money in the 14-year history of our company, and that was to raise cash to buy the Summit Mine in New Mexico. The rest of our history, we've operated under our own steam, and so as a result, we haven't had to keep diluting. And the management team, and myself in particular, have been able to accumulate a very large ownership position. And we think very differently as a result of that. So we are owner operators. The value of our shares by orders of magnitude dwarfs anything that we could get paid as salaries. Salaries are great. Again, I'm not discrediting other people in the ecosystem. It's just the way it works out. But that's how our company has become. It's become configured over the last 14 years of our operation. And the way we're looking at things is like, what is the return to us on a per share basis? Not like, what's the NPV of this? How many ounces can I produce? How much cash flow can I produce? You can get any number you want, but it might cost you $10 million, $100 million, or $1 billion to get there. And if it's going to cost me $1 billion to get there, maybe that's not good on a per share basis. So everything we're doing is looking at capital intensivity. When is that capital required? Can we power this under our own steam? And Summit's a great example. We bought that 4 years ago, and it doesn't require a huge amount of capital to restart that mine. And but it is millions of dollars, and there was no non-dilutive, economically compelling if you're a shareholder basis. Still great NPV for the project, but I only care what am I getting as a shareholder. There was no solution for us in 2022, 2023 on how to restart that and to get that capital. Here we are, coming to the end of 2025, and we can see in 2026, at today's gold price, we're generating a substantial amount of free cash flow from operations in South Africa. We can self-fund the restart of Summit in New Mexico. That's the best possible deal for shareholders. Took us a few years longer, but we have literally zero dilution, and we have also less execution risk because we're not under the duress of having debt hanging over our head, or really managing the business hand to mouth. Makes a huge difference.
I have to ask, because you hit on a little bit of my next question. Was that somewhat of the plan? Is like, all right, we maybe think the gold price is going to continue to go up, or was it somewhat luck in some ways where, I'm just curious because look, we're dealing with $3,600 gold, right? We're recording this on September 11th, 2025, right? Like, I remember, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, it was a similar time period, I think, for you, when I think almost every other interview I had with some explorers were near term production, and it was most of them I don't think went into production because it was still just so expensive to get the product out of the ground. Now things are a lot different. So love to hear your thoughts on all of that. I just threw
It,
a
it
lot.
it was absolutely part of the plan, and it wasn't specifically to wait for $3,600 gold.
Fair.
I can't claim that to be the case, but I could summarize it was to be opportunistic. So
Sure.
at some point in the coming years, we knew that we're going to be in a better gold and silver price environment. That was really part of the thesis for sure. That's my view, and I think if you are an investor in a junior gold company, if you don't have that view, you're probably
Kind
investing
of
in the wrong
has to be.
sector.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have some sort of view there. So that was definitely our view. And, if it would take us an extra year and to just wait for the right moment, that would be worthwhile for us. In fact, it took much longer than we thought. The other aspect, just again, very real practical discussion here, is what I call it, not wanting to have a war on two fronts. So the first war, the battle that we're fighting was getting our operation at Galaxy to work. And we were definitely behind schedule on that. Took us longer to get that to where it needed to be, where it was, ramping up under its own cash flow and self-financing, and indeed generating excess free cash flow from that operation. And that consumes a lot of management energy and resources. So now that's going in the right, it's not that mission is not complete yet by any means, but it's definitely going in the right direction. And we're much more comfortable now focusing more energy and effort and bandwidth on the challenge at Summit. So we don't have the war on two fronts. So that was the other aspect to the timing of it for sure. So plan from day one, be opportunistic. I did not think it would take 4 years, but here we are. And I think, the timing is working out because those are ounces we might have produced at $2,400 gold or $2,000 gold. And now we're taking them out of the ground, hopefully at $3,600 gold or maybe even higher.
Absolutely. So, Ravi, this is one of our quick hitters. So, my final question then for you here today, from what you can tell us, what would you then say are some of the company's value catalysts now for the rest of 25 going into 26?
Yeah, and I'll make it as short and sweet as possible. They could break it down into sub milestones, but number one, recommencing production at Summit gets us into the United States. Really transformative for the company. It's a smaller asset than Galaxy, but very high grade and will contribute a lot to our profitability and really just change the capital markets appreciation of our company. Number two, seeing the continued ramp up of Galaxy, tons going through our mill, ounces produced, and the cash flow generated. And number three, I think just a sort of a reappearance in capital markets. So until this very month, we were basically not present doing any investor relations, telling our story. We had quite consciously not posted a new presentation for a year because we wanted to get a higher confidence interval on our guidance and what we could produce and the timelines around it. So you're going to see a lot more of us. We're not out there to access capital markets, but we're out there for increasing the value of our shares by telling the story and broadening our investor base. And coming from where we're coming, it's going to have a big impact.
Absolutely. Well, Ravi, that's a great place to end it. Where can our audience go and find more information about Golconda?
Our website's a great place to start, and we will be starting to share more and more through our social media channels, particularly X and LinkedIn.
Very cool. And that's golcondagold.com. Ravi, thank you so much for joining me today. Really do appreciate it. Good luck. Stay safe. And I'll see you in Toronto.
See you soon.
See you.